How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming back on the show, man. It's been a while since we talked to you.
Yeah, I was out with the injury and was kind of, didn't have much lined up, but back and ready to rock and roll.
You've had a lot of time between your fights. Your Ultimate Fighter finale, now this fight. Just talk about the long layoff.
Yeah, it just sucks anytime you get laid off that long. You kind of get out of sync a little bit, and my weight got a little out of control. But I broke my thumb into 6 pieces on the Ultimate Fighter finale in the first round, and just had to let that heal. Thank goodness I didn't have to have surgery. And as you know, the UFC they're going like crazy to have a big roster, and I just had to wait my turn, and my turn is July 21st at UFC 149, and I'm stoked to be back at it.
The last time we spoke to you was right before the Rousey versus Tate fight. How excited are you to put all that shit behind you?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, I should have known better. I've been around the sport for a while, and I know, how media can twist things and people can kind of take things out of context. And, I was pumped up that night, and Misha's sitting here saying, this girl, thinking she could beat you up, and I just wanted to put all doubts out of her mind. She's going in for a world title fight, and I said, screw that. Are you kidding me? Because, obviously Misha knows, when we train together, the different levels, and, I was just in that mindset of just getting pumped up, and I should have chose my words a little bit, more wisely. And, but, it's all good. I'm glad that it's past that, and I'm looking to brighter, better things, and to let the fans know who I really am, and through fighting, and I'm just excited.
I know you want to concentrate on the future. You've got a lot of hate on Twitter. Is that something you embrace?
I got a lot of hate during, right then, but I also have my, I have a lot of fans. It was a lot of hate for a little while because people are just, honestly, people are ignorant and they just read something and they don't even bother to research it. They don't even know what's going on. Half of them misquoted everything, and, oh, you said this to her. I said, no, actually, I didn't say that to her. I was talking to a fan, and I was talking about a skill set level. I wasn't talking about, threatening her. Ronda Rousey's 135 pounds. I'm dropping to 135 pounds. I don't care if you're a guy, you're a man, or you're a damn alien. If you're 135 pounds, I'm going to beat you up and break your arm and knock your teeth down your throat. I don't care who you are. And so someone to say that her skill level is she's going to smash me. I don't care if she's a guy or a girl or whatnot. So I was just making a generalized statement, and it got taken out of context. But, like I said, I have my army behind me and my fans that stuck up for me, and every once in a while you get kind of a crazed, person who doesn't really know what they're talking about.
Okay, man, let's talk about UFC 149. And we just had Roland on the show. You were on the same season as him, Ultimate Fighter 14. He's gone 2-0 in the UFC. Are you surprised by the success of the guys from your season?
No, I'm not surprised. I believe we had one of the toughest seasons that they've ever had. Our most seasons they kind of are looking to bring in new talent, looking to bring in, new guys, as fresh faces, and the division was so new at 45 and 35 in the UFC. They were trying to build the division to make it solid, so they're solid competitors. So most of the guys on my season, they were veterans, they weren't these guys, there's a few newbies, but everybody there was solid, we had a lot of veterans on the show, a lot of guys who had a lot of fights, I had a lot of fights, Johnny Bedford had a lot of fights, Stephanie East, there's a ton of people who had a ton of fights and a ton of experience, and I'm not surprised that everybody's doing well.
From this point forward, how much weight will you have to drop by Friday?
I've been doing really good and dieting down. I got on a whole new diet and just been eating the cleanest I've ever ate. And any of my training, whether it was wrestling or fighting or any competition in my life, this is the healthiest lifestyle I've lived as far as nutrition wise. And as far as anything, training, I just feel phenomenal. And right now I'm about probably 14 pounds, but I'm just keep slowly bringing my weight down nice and healthy, and I'm not trying to crash diet. And, hopefully I won't have to cut more than, 10 pounds, 5 maybe the night before, 5 the day of. That's what's looking like, around 10, maybe a little less. things worked better than expected.
Okay, man, so we got your opponent, Mitch Gagnon, on the show tomorrow morning. What do you think about him as a fighter?
I think he's a tough guy. I think if you're fighting in the UFC, most of the time you definitely earned it. 90% of guys in the UFC, they belong there. They earned it. They worked hard. And, I think Mitch is a tough guy. I think he's physically strong. I think he's a very physical fighter. And, he's got his W's. But I also think that he's kind of a big fish in a small pond. I noticed, pretty much all of his fights have been, Canadian guys, kind of local in that area. So I'm excited to test him out and see if he's, belongs with the rest of the world, in the skill level. I think that although he's very physical, I think he lacks the technical talent that I have myself, and I just think I'm on another level technically, and I think that's gonna overall win the fight.
He is making his pro debut, or not pro debut, UFC debut. Do you believe anything into the hype of the Octagon jitters?
Yeah, I've had that. I fought for every major organization. I fought for the WC. I fought for Showtime. I fought on Strikeforce. And, there is extra pressure, definitely for sure. You're not used to all those big fans, especially if you've just been fighting all these, Canadian shows, his local shows around, around his area. It's definitely, UFC is a dream come true for any fighter. It's the highest level of the sport. It's the, it's the pinnacle of the sport. So it's got to come for any pressure, whether it's your first fight or your second fight or your third fight. There's a lot of pressure, and definitely that first fight, you want to go in there and make a good performance and win. So I definitely think that, that's not a myth.
Okay, man, and like you just mentioned, you fought for Elite XC, Strikeforce, World Extreme Cage Fighting. You fought for them all. Now, this fight is taking place in Calgary. There's going to be 20,000 Canadian fans. Pretty big event. Just talk about the show in general.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be coming to Canada. It kind of sucks I'm fighting a Canadian because I actually find that a lot of my fans are actually Canadian fans. I fought for Sport Fight, which was Matt Lemon and Randy Couture's show for a while. It was on HDNet, and I just have a lot of Canadian fans. And unfortunately, I'm definitely not going to be my fans that night. But it's okay. That's how it goes. You fight in your hometown or close somewhere, and you're the hometown boy, and one show you're not. So it's all right. I love the Canadian fans. They're great fans. They love the sport. There's just good fans all the way around. So I'm really stoked to be fighting in a place that loves and embraces MMA as much as the Canadian fans, the Canadian population does. So I'm stoked to be in Canada. It's not too far away from actually my home state, Washington. It's only a 10-hour drive, I think. So it's kind of hometown area for me, but not really because it's in another country. But overall, I'm just stoked. I'm stoked to be fighting on a pay-per-view card and stoked to be on the FX portion of TV. And I'm just happy to be in the UFC, man. I wouldn't rather fight, for any other organization in the world.
You've made a lot of stops along the way, and you finally made it here. Let's get a prediction from you on your fight. How will it finish?
You know what? I just want to talk to my fans a little bit, too. I want to say I'm glad you brought that up. And I never really even, thought about it too much. But I have 28 MMA wins in my career. And, including my, amateur and pro record, I have 28 wins. And I have 26 finishes out of those 28 wins. So, when I fight to finish guys. I don't go out there having 93% finish rate. And that's my prediction. I don't fight any other way but to finish somebody. So I'm going out there. I don't know how it's going to happen. You can't plan a fight out too much, but I know I'm going to go out there. And, Mitch is a tough guy, and I'm expecting a tough fight, but I just really don't think he can hang with me technically. Anybody has a puncher's chance, especially in the UFC. And, I'm definitely not underestimating him, but I just honestly don't think he's on my caliber. I honestly don't think hardly anybody is, unless you're in the top 5 in the world, you're on my level, you're on my level caliber. So, I'm predicting a finish. That's all I can predict. Early round 2, I'll say. Finish round. Early round 2 or late round 1.
This card has just been ravaged by injuries. It's just crazy. 9 guys have had to be replaced for this show. What do you think? 9?
Wow, I thought it was 6 or 7.
Yeah, no, it's 9. It's the UFC record all time. So just talk about injuries in training. Is there anything that can be done about this?
You know what? I just think that the level of competition is getting so fierce and so high. You know, the talent's getting high, the sport's evolving, and I think they push themselves to that next level. And, you know, everybody wants to win and so competitive. And, you know, guys are getting so competitive in practice and just, you know, like I said, the talent pool is growing and it's just hard. You know, you gotta be smart, and sometimes less is more. You know, sometimes easing back on that, you don't overtrain, you avoid those injuries a little bit, and you know, that's a fine line when you know you're an elite level athlete and you got there through dedication, you got there through hard work, you got there from pushing yourself. So it's hard to kind of, you know, listen to your body and ease back a little bit. But you know, it's a tough thing to deal with. Definitely, I've been on that side of the, you know, that fence before with injuries, and it's not fun. You know, it's hard. I mean, we're in a full contact sport. We're trying to beat each other up, and the goal is to inflict pain to the other person. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Okay, man. Any sponsors that you'd like to thank or promote your Twitter?
Absolutely, man. You know, first of all, I would like to thank God. I'd like to thank my mom, Bryan Caraway, who put me in wrestling when I was a little kid, pushed me my whole entire life, got me into every sport I ever was. I'd like to thank my brother. I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend, Misha Tate, for always being there, helping me push, help me with my nutrition. And then I'd like to thank a few sponsors that have helped me out with this fight. I'd like to thank Hayabusa Fightwear. I'd like to thank Lexani Wills, Ventresca Financial Group, Bencourt Photography, Discount Lumber, Carlton Excavating and Paving, Sergeant MMA, my gym, Yakima Mixed Martial Arts. Love the gym. They're awesome. They're my family. You know, I couldn't do it without them. 650 Train. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is a Stand By Me program. I'm dedicating this fight to a youth anti-bullying program. So, you know, I'm advocating and, you know, endorsing this program. It's called Stand By Me. Really check it out. It's for the kids. It's to help stop bullying. It's an awesome program. I'm going to be selling bracelets and throwing some bracelets out to the crowd. It's really awesome. So it's called StandByMeProgram.com. And also, you know, check me out on Twitter at Bryan Caraway, BryanCaraway. And, not, you know, last but not least, do thank the fans. The fans what make everything happen, what makes me be able to fight for a living and you know, live the dream. And, you know, so I hope all you Canadian fans, whether you love me or hate me, I'm going to put on a good show, and hopefully you'll want to watch me in the future.
Awesome stuff, Bryan. Thanks for giving us the time, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, see ya.